is actually about, we're talking about CFR, but I think not all of us know what CFR is, but let it with. Okay, so I intentionally bring this not this time, because I've joined last week and not all the participants can practice their English skills. So I try to bring I think it's very common, what's that topic that I hope that all of audience all participants can share in our discussion for tonight. So my, what is that? My theme here, we're trying to discuss about how does CEFR help us learning English. And CFR is actually stand from Common European Framework of Reference for Language. So before we going deeper into our discussion for tonight, I have several questions for all of you guys here. Okay, wait. So you can type the answer in the comment chat. Yeah. First question is, on a scale of 1 till 5, how familiar are you with CEFR? Okay, on a scale of 1 to 5. Okay, 1. 0, 1, 2. The other, how many? Okay, 0. Okay, 1. Okay, 4. Okay, okay, so -1. Maybe I will give a disclaimer here. So I don't have a language background education. So if you have some knowledgeable about this theme, you can share your knowledge so we can have a discussion here. So actually CFR actually is really close when we are learning English, but maybe we didn't realize it because we don't know it. CFR, maybe you've ever heard before, like A1, A2, B1, B2, and so on. So here is the CEFR. Okay, so in the first slide, I give you the second question. So maybe this is for the general topic that CFR levels. Or maybe we also know about this is A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, and C2. So could you predict in which scale or in which level your English is now? Okay, could you predict it? Okay, C1. I think it's really impossible to hear. Okay. Okay, so, but I guess all of you here, because you are joining this discussion and you think, I think you already understand what I'm saying, and you think you also learn from another YouTube, another research, and I guess you have a great capability to understand the English. And I think most of us here may be in level B1 and B2, or probably in proficient is like C1 and C2. So let's talk about the discussion first. Is CFR is just about levels? Does anyone want to give their opinions? Okay. Okay, you can raise your hand. I can't see. Maybe Mr. Ajik can help me. Who is raising hand?
I can assist you. The first is Ahmad Akida.
Okay, thank you for this opportunity. Hopefully I'm not in the independently or in the proficient user as a basic user. That is my opinion, maybe. So yeah, I will share something that I know. I think the whole of something that I shared today is false because yeah, I'm not a master in English actually. And in my opinion, related to your question before, is it about the levels of our proficiency in English? I think not. To be honest, it refers to the other meaning of proficiency itself. When we say about disaster in A1, so we can make it more specific. Which disaster is it? When we say it is pandemic, and pandemic is apart from a disaster. So that could refer to this kind of topic. I mean, to the CEFR. So when we say in the C2 or C1, we would say something that is more specific than we say in basic level, such as we say, so we could change we could change it as uh, maybe hands, or maybe we can make the similarity of our vocabularies to be much advanced and much specific again by this such of topic. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Sunshine.
Okay, thank you for the time given. So, guys, according to me, to be honest, it is, I guess, something wrong. It's not the answer, but the question itself. Because it is not just about level. I mean, like, is it level? I mean, like, yeah, it's actually level, but it contains many things to elaborate to begin with. So it also explores something about the limits, the diction, the word choices, and also the collocation, the phrases, the phrasal verbs that being used, the ability to speak fluently and clearly. So I believe that there are bigger variety of um, bigger variety of English utilizations in terms of CFR. So I guess it's not just about level. This is actually a level that indicates the capability or the ability of someone to speak better. Yeah.
Okay. Another and is level. I think level is one of the the part in the CF part. So CFR stand for the cases give you a detailed description of learner level by skill in a language neutral format. It is useful reference document for school directors, syllabus designer, teachers, teacher trainers, and proficient learners. So capability enough to learn by ourselves. We can use it in like in this but what is that profit, yeah, as we can see here, the level only it has 6 different levels from A1, A2, they are in the basic user, and B1 and B2 they call independent user, and C1 and 2 in the practicing user. For general description, so how can we know this? So maybe A1 is for the first learning, and it is actually there is a pre-A1. Pre-A1 is really starting to learning English, and A2 we can comment English within the limit range context of church family, holidays maybe, and B1 here there is a threshold, the general description about can communicate essential points and ideas in our familiar context. And B2, which is the detailed description, can, what is that? Sorry, can use English effectively with some fluency in a range of context level. So what is that? It's adapted to the Cambridge English exam. Another level, it has same name. It is another name like A1. We can call it like starter or movers. For A2, the flyer, and or the B1. This is the usage for preliminary for school, and B2 the first for school, and C1 it's called advanced, and C2 is proficient. So the next slide is what it is for. Yeah, as we talked about previously, it's not about description about level in our language skill, but also used in a very what is that, different context. So this is the use for the CFR. There are a lot of useful or a lot of purposes that European make this CFR. First, for designing courses, developing syllabus, developing learning materials, marking exam, describing language policies, creating test exam, evaluating learning needs, and teaching trainer programs, and the last is self-assessment. So there are three keywords in CFR. First, for learning, teaching, and assess. I mean, like learn, teach, and assess. Learning, teaching, and assessment. So the three keywords is the usage from the CFR. So here I mark the different color. I give the red color here. We will talk about self-continuous or self-assessment, all continuous assessment. So my question here, how can you assess yourself in a way when you're learning English? Okay. Does anyone want to give their opinion? Okay. Rafi first, Mr. Rafi, maybe.
Okay, thank you very much for Mr. Muhsin. In my perspective, I suppose that when I'm going to, this is my perspective, so when I'm going to predict my skill, I tend to make a such correction how many times I make some mistakes when I write something, or how many times I pronounce wrong words when I speak, or when I do some conversations with my partner or something like that. If we can speak fluently, it means that we gain the best of ours. And yeah, I think that's it in my opinion. When I want to make such a prediction, how much I understand about English, or we can record about how we deliver our sentence in a video or something like that. I think that's all.
Okay, thank you. Next, Mr. Ahmad Fatahullah Adeputra. Okay, Mr. Ahmad.
Okay, thank you for this time, Keen. In my opinion, what is it used for? I mean, what is CFR used in our daily life is related to our diction that we use for speaking or maybe for delivering our idea to the people, particularly when we face the children or the boy or the girl that there's maybe their knowledge is not well as the professor or maybe the doctor. So I will use the A1 because that is more appropriate to them rather than I say it's a catastrophic craze in the crash of economic. I would say we face the reduction in our economy to them. So if CFR actually used for to whom we deliver our information, to whom people that we deliver our information to acknowledge them about something that in my idea, what is it? And then how to assess. So in my perspective, I could assess my language is much better or not is when I speak to the professor or maybe to the doctor. Could I understand them when they say about many diction that is more particulate or specified to their topic? Seems like we say utilitarianism for people who believe to something that is more utilized for their life, or maybe could we understand about the virus or maybe biotechnology, about the genome, genetics, and the others. So when we share, when we discuss with them and we can understand from ourselves and their self. So I can assess that my English is much better when we discuss in particular topic, because I believe that when we have the mastery level, it could it will be particulate to several topics that we learn more rather than the topics that we haven't learned more. That is my opinion. Maybe I'm false. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone, again, maybe how do you assess yourself in a way that you're learning English?
Can I? I'm unable to raise my hand.
Sorry.
Okay. Oh, after this Angga, okay. For me, when I assess my own capacity in English, usually I get a conversation or reading the textbooks of English like that. And also for having or listening a seminar in English when I understand it all. Yeah, I mean, oh, it's not so bad. Maybe B2, B1. I don't know. So it is how do I can assess myself, of course, with some notions like what Mr. Rafi does. Yeah, it is what I do today, and also what Mr. Afida also said. But also maybe I just want to give an addition, perhaps. It is out of the question, what is it for? I guess one aspect addition is for creating commercialization. When we can see all of the English test proficiency and also like courses in Paris, they're coming from this, with this interest that can enforce the people for having a good quantification on their ability in speaking, they build up for profits. I know exactly the behind of the business, but maybe just one addition. But also, in my assumption, we are unable to achieving C2 at all because, for example, I'm an economist. I'm unable to learn all of the term of biologists like Mr. Afida. Maybe Mr. Afida also same, unable to what is that use, utilize, or understand all of the thing, all of the term about economics. But it is about relativity and it's about the sharpening where is our interest going on. So maybe that is from mine. Thank you, Mr. Musin.
Okay, thank you. Next, here, Mr. Angga, can you give your opinion?
Thank you, Mr. Uchin. Frankly speaking, when I was studying in Paris, I used these things like A1, A2, B1, B2, C1 to C2, right? Since I wanted to be here well and like professional and so on. Nevertheless, when I studied more, I realized that that was actually not appropriate in my 3 point, because the point is not how high your vocabulary is, but it is about your accuracy, how accurate your vocabularies define your sentences. For example, if we want to say understand, it is about a vocabulary issue. If we want to say mengetahui in Indonesia, we always say know and understand. Other people say, other people say, who are trying to be, who are trying to use higher vocabularies like figure out, observe, grasp. But the meaning is actually, like Mr. Sani said before, they are more, more concrete. For example, observe. Observe is the synonym of now, but the definition is about understanding something completely and remember them. However, on the other hand, now and understand is more general. So instead of saying observe in the general use, if you, for example, only understand something in the surface, you cannot use observe. In my viewpoint, it is better to only use know. The second thing is like I think, many IELTS learners always, sometimes not always, sometimes mock people who are saying I think, right? But when I hear native English speaker, they even always say I think. It is just my assumption. They seldom do they say I assume, I opine, or I suppose, and so on. They also actually say I think, but yeah, it is okay actually to say that. All right. Now regarding pronunciation, many English learners, it is just my complaint. I want to try to express my opinion about this. They try to be as similar as native English speaker, like their accent, either British, American, or India. However, in my opinion, accent is not that important. In my viewpoint, pronunciation is pivotal. Since if you, even though you have good accent, but you do not have good pronunciation, the listeners would be mistaken to what you are saying to them. On the other hand, trying to emulate native English speaker as similar as we can, I think it is like the sign of inferiority. But I don't know what the others' perspective about this, since the colonialism era, right? Their cultures have been in our cultures still even. So we appreciate everything regarding abroad, especially regarding developed countries, not only their buildings, their cultures, and also their language like this. In my viewpoint, it is okay to have Indonesian accent as long as you have good pronunciation. So many people will still understand you. Yeah, I think this is my short perspective, Mr. Regarding my experience learning English. Thank you, Mr. Uchin.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, before we continue to Mr. Sani, I also want to give the response. Yeah, first, talking about CFR is not only about how we are using a lot of maybe and in our daily speaking we use B level vocabulary, C2 vocabulary because how they do understand sometimes it's for the academic purposes, not for daily life. So the accuracy is the important key in the way we are communicating with other people, and also pronunciation, because you also mentioned, I agree with that, and not it's okay we have pronunciation or like Indonesian accent because in pronunciation what's that English, or I forget the terms, pronunciation reduction, if I'm not mistaken. So it is okay if it is okay you have your own way the accent in the way that you're speaking English, but the important thing when you're trying to have a good pronunciation is you are have intelligibility, so you can understand by another audience. So that's my response. So next to the Mr. Sani, give how do you assess yourself in a way that you're learning English?
It's a very simple. Just take IELTS. You can assess yourself. Or if you bet for something cheaper, take TOEFL. TOEFL ETP. If you feel that's so costly for you, take TOEFL simulation. Okay, TOEFL simulation is if you feel it's so expensive, try to find the free one. Don't forget to copy and share. Okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, I believe that the most essential thing when I wanted to test myself is by comparing myself to others in terms of speaking, reading, writing, and listening as well. So, for example, in terms of listening, I'll try to listen to some particular movies with British and sometimes with American accent without using subtitle. And if I could understand clearly what they said, it means I'm improving. And in comparison, and in terms of speaking, I'd like to say that, okay, there are so many people, some of them believe that the most crucial to understand for the very first time is the pronunciations. But for myself, in terms of speaking, something that we need to build up is the number of vocabularies. Because so far, in terms of reading, in terms of writing, in terms of speaking, so many people stuck, unable to speak up anymore when they couldn't think about what to say. Rather than how to say, they are they become how to say visu. That's give to line buta visu. How to say? Anyone know about visu?
What?
Visu.
Bisu.
See. Okay, so this is a real example of how we couldn't continue anymore. What we are going to talk, even though it is something that become our cup of tea, but it becomes something not piece of cake if we couldn't figure out what is the most proper way that we can put into our elaborations. Yes. Okay, so I guess that based on those two things, I mean, like in terms of listening as well as in speaking, I believe that testing to those sections first can be something fundamental for every beginner that would like to prove themselves in terms of self-improvement. I think that's for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Uh, next to the next slide, I think is really clear. What is that? So the next question, I want to hear for all of the participants that has not been speech in this what is that in this discussion. Before I give you the answer, how long to get fluency in English? The question is how long to get fluency in English?
Can I?
Okay, Mr. Raji.
Is it based on my experience like that?
Yeah, it's okay. It's based your on experience. We are sharing here.
Okay. Fortunately, I was starting learning English maybe last year when I was going to Paris, and I had met with Arya. He is native speaker from Australia. I don't know about exactly the grammar is. I don't know exactly what should I say to the other people, but I just imitate his speaking, and it's like natural learning, I guess. And I got fluency. Yeah, I can speak like this, but in some part, I still lack of vocabulary at the time. I still sometimes get a mistake or the structure, but I can speak it like to make other people understand. It needs only 2 months with him, and I guess every language it has same pattern. I mean, they have their own mathematical rule. I mean, for the pattern itself, and language is a pattern, not math. Except for for Arabic, I need more than 2 months for learning about that. Yeah, and maybe it's only 2 months for me.
Okay, only 2 months. Okay. Another people maybe want to share their experience. Okay. I want to get fluency. Okay, you can start to speak, Mr. Hudori.
Okay, now I want to deliver my brain that how long to get fluency in English. Yeah, for me myself, it depends on someone who always trigger ourselves to be fluent because when we want to study, automatically we will look for the trigger. We look for the spirit, how to be fast, understand about English. So we always try more and more, even we do mistakes many times. But if there is someone reminds us to be better in the future, of course we don't want to repeat again for the mistake. But we don't worry to try more and more. This is my way how to be fluent. Actually, it's so hard for me if I want to be fluent, but I try to trigger my mentality to talk by English because it's not our language. So I try to speak up and how to encourage my mentality to speak up in front of the people. It's not easy as we think. Actually, we have so many things, but we are stuck if we are not brave enough. Of course, we are afraid of giving opinions. Yeah, that's it. The more we try, the more we will understand easily. The more we practice, the more we can we speak up more. Yeah, that's it. What I can share.
Okay, so okay. In a way, we are learning as we also need what is that the another expect to encourage us to to learn English. Okay, here there is Mr. Febrian. Okay, Mr. Febrian, you can start your speech.
Okay, thank you, Mr. for give me opportunities. Uh, how long to get fluency in English? I think if we must make the same meaning of fluency. If we think fluency is fluency like a native speaker, like English people, like a British, like American people, uh, it's very hard to make the same like them because uh, although we start studied English from the senior high school until now, I think we can get the same grammatically and pronunciation like them, and then we can make a accurate time how long we can get fluency in English. This is my short opinions. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Another speaker we have Mr. Ahmad Fatahullah.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mohsinur Alim. Once upon a time, there is a teacher in Pare that taught me in a class, namely Mr. Kibo. He said to me that believe in yourself that your native language is not Bahasa Indonesia, and believe in yourself that your native language is English. So in that time, I believe that my English is quite fluent enough. So how long to get the fluency is it? It would be when you believe in yourself that you are fluency in English, so you will face the fluency in English itself. But there is no any standard in this circumstance. When we back to the standardized, seems like we back to the TOEIC or maybe the IELTS or TOEFL. They have many standards and we need to practice. I believe that I need to learn 1,000 hours of practice in particular examination of those standard. I mean, I need to practice to speak in English 1,000 times so I will get the fluency in the standard level. Or maybe the writing, I need 1,000 hours to get it. The question is how long to get 1,000 hours to learn English. Would be 2 months, 3 months, a year, or maybe a decade. It will back to you how long you practice it well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, another speaker, we've got Mr. Angga.
Well, thank you again, Mr. Uchin. I believe that English is one of the lessons in the school, right? I believe all of us have been learning English since your school, at least from junior high school or your senior high school. But why until now we haven't been fluent enough in English? My point of view is that it is well learning English or learning other languages in general is not only about how long you study that language, but it is about how intensive you study that language. Since language is about practice, so when you wanna be more fluent in English, so you need to study intensively. Therefore, when I studied in Paris last year, I had many improvements compared to my experience in Samarinda city in my area. I studied for 3 months approximately in Samarinda, compared to 1 month in Paris, because Paris gave me intensive learnings of English. Therefore, I felt that my improvements was higher than what I studied since when I in my school to in my university back then. Um, in addition, when we want to be more professional in English, I think we need to be, more intensive again. It is like an athlete, wanna um, when we wanna be able to play volleyball, for example, just play volleyball every day. However, when you want to be a volleyball athlete right now, you don't only need to practice every day, but you need to also um, keep your body healthy by drinking and eating a lot of foods, a lot of healthy foods. You need to be consistent in yourself, not only in your practice, but also in your foods itself. It is, I suppose, similar to learning English and other languages. Instead of only practicing with your friends, you might practice also with other um, learners from other countries or even native speakers, and you need to be consistent, not just study 1 month, then you don't study it again. However, you need to study it comprehensively and intensively. I think it is the key of my explanation right now. It is about intensivity. Thank you, Mr. Uchin.
Okay, thank you. Before I give the response, maybe I will give another speaker to Mr. Sani. Okay. You can give your speech. Mr. Sani, you can start your speech.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so everyone like talk about themselves, but instead, I like to talk about someone else. I got a senior. His name is Vicky, and he was actually introvert, so he couldn't find out some moments when he speak English. He was detected as someone who keeps silent wherever and whenever we met him. So basically, what I'm trying to say is that um, the length or the period we need to get fluent is not basically based on the time itself, but it depends on how fast you can acquire the best method or the most effective method to improve your speaking skill. So, yeah, because at the time when I met him, in some competitions. I felt like knowing for the very first time that he could speak without stopping in a flat and monotonous way. I was just so thrilled and amazed at the same time because I just wondered, for extrovert, it is we believe that we need to speak more and more, right? But for introvert, it means like they have a particular way that they can use to practice their English so fast and undetected and can improve faster and better than us, extrovert. So I guess it depends on how fast you find the most appropriate method to speak to improve your speaking, I guess. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So my response is, so actually there is a theory that, yeah, I know like English is actually a skill that if you want to be a master in a certain skill, you need at least 1,000 hours to spend more and to dedicate yourself in that skill. And I guess I agree with Mr. Angga said that it's not only about how long it takes we dedicate to this skill, but how intensely or how consistent as to try to learn at that skill. So I think here from the Cfr level, they give the approximate hours in a way they will, when you're trying to reach another level from A1 until C2. So A1 approximately you only need 90 until 100 hours. So just imagine in a day you only have 24 hours, and I'm like how many minutes, how many time that you spend your time in learning English. So you can calculate it until maybe, yeah, 100 hours or more. Yeah, it could be more than a year if you try to, what is that, summarize it. And language is actually about, what is that, language is actually the skill that always change every year because it's a very dynamic. And also learning languages mean learning, we never stop to learn, we never stop to learn. And also about the method from Mr. Sunny said, isn't it not only about how long we learn in that certain skill, but also the method that we are using is very effective or not. Okay, and I agree. So here maybe if any one of you have taken the Ielts scores or another test, so your score represents what is your level. So if overall band is 8, so you are in the C2 level. So it's very advanced. And if what is that? If your IELTS score um, overall in 7 or 7.5, you are in what is that, C1. So it is. So actually, I have ever taken another application that maybe I will tell you in the last of this slide. So how long are you, what is that? How can I find my level English? How can I find my English? So maybe I will show you at the end of this slide. Okay. So this is the, what is that? Compared to Cambridge English and IELTS and the common European framework of reference in English. So this score gives you present in which level you are. Okay. So next to the next slide. Okay. This is our main. What is that? This is our main topic, or our main discussion. How does CFR help us learning English? For me myself, I think if we are know what CFR is, we can develop and evaluate our progress. But by the evaluation, we can know how to do next step. So because we are now we are in, maybe I think I am now in level B2 and I try to reach the advanced level like C1. So I know how to do the next step. So and also because we know that what is it? Dedicated in our in a certain skill also need time, so we can making set of structural time schedule realistically. It's more realistic. So yeah, not very idealistic but realistic, and also have a knowledge variety and lexical resources. Does anyone want to give additional maybe what after we know what is CFR, how could CFR, how does CFR help us in a way that we are learning English? Okay, Mr. Ahmad.
Yeah. Uh, it will be back to my experience. Maybe, um, yeah, learning this topic will make my vocabularies much advanced than before. Maybe in this practice it's not well as that I spoken before, but CFR will help me um, to find the synonym or the similarity of many vocabularies in the dictionary. I mean, when I face the tricky vocabulary that hard to be managed in my mind or maybe to be remembered in my below of my consciousness, I will learn the similarity from the CFR. Seems like when I face the terms of amplification, what is amplification itself? It's so hard to be understood. But when I see the synonym of the amplification, the copy, so I will understand. Oh, this is the copy of the DNA, rather than I just remember amplification directly to be understand in my own language. I will change it to the other similarities by the other CEFR. That is the methodology to learn English by this CFR, in my opinion. Maybe I'm
Okay, thank you. Another people maybe want to give their opinion or additional. How does CFR help us learning English? Not nothing. No one.
Perhaps me.
Okay, Saraji.
Okay. My supposing about this topic is uh, language is always evolving. It is running, go and go and go. It's like you're catching a motorcycle that's running go in front of you because language is always evolving. Or you can build your new vocabularies about that. But before that, we should know the distance before we are reaching that vehicle. Oh, maybe my position is here. Oh, it's something that I should rather knowing more about this. It is like a step to put your position in as a general to make sure you have a comprehensive understanding to communicate with each other. I guess it is like catching up with motorcycle, but fortunately, when we learn about CEFR, we are not so far away with that motorcycle. Maybe that's from me.
Okay, thank you. The others? Anyone? Nothing? No one? Okay, I think you know. So yeah, and also the
Kibo,
common
Kibo.
error. Sukibo, you want to give some
Mr.
additional?
Kibo.
Yeah, it's only the simple thing how important that GEFR itself. It's extremely work, especially when you try to talk with the several people formally. One of the samples, a kind of the statement then coming from the Barack Obama that make me try to think regarding to his vocabularies. It's like, yeah, I just remember, Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, history is more than path left by the past. It influences the present and can shape the future. So if we are coming from the people that only use the common vocabularies, it will not make that speech will be beautiful. It will not make that statements will be nice. When we try to implement and trying to use CFR to make our vocabularies will be advanced. So I suppose that it will be good because Kibo for the better America. No, yeah. So this is the point exactly. When we try to speak internationally, every single word or every single vocabularies that we have to use, it should be compatible, and secondly, it should be, yeah, it should be stand in the high level. when you're trying to use the vocabularies that related with with when you're talking with your friend, with you're talking with the several people that it'll not formal and others. So I suppose that it'll trying to be blamed by the people when you talk in international court and others. So with this, I suppose that it'll trying to make us a bit better, especially to enhance and to mastering in our vocabularies. So this is my statement. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so now we know how the CFR can help us in a way that we are learning English. But actually, CFR is not only using to learning English because this is from European, like it actually used for maybe around more than 40,000 language can be standardized by the CFR, like German, French, Italy, and another languages like in the European countries. So next to the slide. So now I don't have any answer here, but I just give you the question. What are the challenges of the CFR implemented in learning English? Maybe like, especially maybe when we looking at the younger learners, or maybe like in junior high school, it's just really, what is it? It could be implemented or not, or what do you think? Okay, Mr. Ahmad.
Well. When we back to the challenges or maybe the tricky to learn CFR to be implemented in our daily life, it will be refers to the other means. The first, it will back to the resources that influence the people itself. When we face the vocabularies that is not in the C2 level of CFR, so we will be impacted by the daily to use the below level of C2 level of CFR. But when we face the more proficient level, we will get the best way to learn CFR. Secondly, it will back to our sophisticated or maybe our intention to learn it. When we face the hard vocabularies and our laziness eager is appear, so we will hold to learn CFR much deeper again. So those all are the challenges in these learning methodologies. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Someone want to give their knowledge, their opinions? Because I have no idea. What are the challenges of CFR implemented in learning English? Yeah, maybe sometimes when we try to assess the young student, like younger learners, it's okay, Mr. Ivo.
So these challenges means is like a test. Yeah, sorry. You can correct me if I got mistaken because I don't join from the beginning of these discussions. But the point is we are as a human. We don't have much capacity to remember or to memorize a kind of the vocabularies that related with what the GFR wants us to learn it. He has little capacity. It try to Ielts.
Okay.
Can I?
The others maybe. Someone how can? Okay, Rafi, Sarafi. Yeah, okay, you can give your thoughts.
Me?
Oh, okay, Susanti.
It's my turn.
Me? Yes. Your turn. Take it.
Okay, Sarafi first. Sarafi first.
Yes, I will.
But it's okay if you do first.
No, because you raise hand first, so I'm first.
Oh, okay. Well, when we talk about challenge, I suppose that it will relate with who the learners that we are going to implement about CFR. If CFR, if we implement this to what we call it, kindergarten learners or to young learners, it is quite hard because yeah, I suppose that when I'm become the teacher who teach young learners, I will teach them how use English, just uh, the use of English in daily life or daily routine. But if we teach junior high school or senior high school or even college student, it's okay because they have capability to understand complex theory because CFR but theoretically will suitable for uh, high high level students. So it's impossible to teach about CEFR to young learners. That's all. That's
Okay,
my
thank
opinion.
you.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay, can Sunny, can
Okay. Well, in regard to a mechanism, just like the procedure and proposal, we would like to questions about the quality of human resources. Okay. Not only that, but also need to understand the educational framework that actually established in a particular country. Because basically, in terms of Europe and also Indonesia itself has a significantly different way of implementing education. And we could understand that there is a different accents, a different culture, different tradition, different personal traits. It actually significantly influence how people interact one another in implementing this CFR. In regard to the human resources, I believe that the challenges is to provide the eligible teachers that fully understand about the concept of CFR and trying to manipulate all the data so that it can reflect the actual conditions of how the culture of Indonesian people can accept the CFR that comes from Europe. Okay, so this is something so crucial to implement at the very first time if we want uh, uh, tackle the challenges of CFR. Because unable to provide the human resources that actually qualified for CFR will only set this parameter or this CFR as a baseless parameter for each. And yeah, finally, we only understand that based on several tests actually that rooted from this framework. I think that's all. Sorry if I'm wrong.
okay, thank you, Sunny. The others maybe because uh, there is no more slide
Can I?
to. Uh, okay, I can start again.
Okay. I think CEFR tool is a stagnant tool, while the language itself is running always flexible, and also with the limitation of human capacity, the differences between the culture and educational structure system. We should integrate it through the what is that comprehensible of solution that can build up our education system to provide this tool to be implemented equally, and it is focused to advanced students, I guess. Before we are achieving our finding that solutions or structure or just a new system that can provide the system to be implemented well, it is for me is a challenge that impossible to be surpassed. And yeah, for example, in Indonesia itself, when I asked you, all of you guys, for example, do you know the meaning, the words of subjugasi, subjugation in English? Maybe it's rarely people understand. So yeah, it is improving the flexibility, but it should be on particular side of education that is proposing for the advancement of professionality, like what Mr. Sunshine said. Maybe that is my opinion.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so this is the differences between the CFR and we as a learner. So here, as a learner, we actually try to perception and production. Perception is like we try to receive like in what can we do in that skill, like speaking, writing, listening, and reading. And like production, we try to communicate with others. But in there's actually have some changes in the CFR also, like in the policy. From focus on learning, they try to make from become a social agent. So the purpose of CFR in 21st century is from make a learner become a social agent, means that they try to more interact with other people and try to mediation, like participant in social agent and so on. And so I guess I will maybe like give you several source that maybe I don't know some of you have been using this source or not. So I'm gonna like another final topic for discussion. So this is the slide. If you to find out more about the CFR, go on to the website of the Council of Europe, and if you want more information about reading levels and the CFR, look at the CFR Companion Volume 2018. So it has been revised. And if you teach young learners, you may want to have a look at this page on the Council of Europe website, because you know, like when we maybe some of you have also like tried to become a tutor, or you try to how to teach young learners sometimes really challenges. So there is a syllabus in that page, and if you want to check the level of specific word, like we have been discussing previously, you can check the English vocabulary profile that thrown from Cambridge Vocabulary, which the time of writing is free. And also another resources here, if you want to check the level of grammatical using, just look at the English grammar profile. For the Ielts, you can download it there. And another resource is here for general service list in new general service list. And also, if you want to find another academic word list here, and have you ever tried text inspector here? I think it's really interesting. Maybe I can show you because it's really helpful. It's really helpful. One page on the English profile, you may also want to check the text inspector, which allows you to generate the profile according to this effort. But it's for writing. For writing. Wait, maybe I will give you some share screen. Not a share screen. Okay. So this is the text expander. I think I will use it for if I'm trying to write something in English. And maybe like IELTS, in IELTS like 2, we only need to at least 2050 words. We can check it here. We can check it here. Wait, maybe I will copy another text from the English. So we can analyze here. So here, the statistic summary, readability score here. So this is the sentence, and this is the score from the statistic. And lexical diversity here also is very advanced, I think. So VOCD, I don't know what that's mean here. And the tracker also here, summary, and the part of speech, how coordinating conjunction, determiner article, determiner modal, and noun flow. So this is the detail analysis from the free website. Okay. And also the errors. Okay, spelling errors. Okay. Spelling errors. Okay, only one. Okay, spelling errors because I copied from another text. Okay, okay, it may seem counterintuitive. Lexical from EVG after the, okay. This is the summary. So this is how describe your writing in okay, mostly here we are using A1 and unlisted vocabulary, and C1 and C2, B1 and B2 and A2. Okay. Yeah, it will disturb teacher's job. Another for lexic DNC, the corpus, British National Corpus here. The score. This is the analysis, more detail, but I don't understand it, but it's okay. This is corpus of contemporary American English. That can analyze the text. This is the summary content. Okay, same. And Lexis academic word list and key phrases. The summary. So this one, yeah, well, and meta discourse. This is for if we don't have a tutor and trying to find how could I assess my writing, so you can use this slide. Okay, this is the what is that? Unlisted topic sheet. Okay. And scorecard. Okay, this is the score for the text, number of metrics used, and Cfr level is C1. Okay.
Sir, so if
Yeah.
I can conclude, we can check our vocabularies here,
Yes.
our grammatical here.
Mm.
Is it true, right?
Yeah, we can see the errors, the lexical, because actually
Oh.
I've never used it before. I just get it from British Council. I just got it the in the course, like assess how to assess student in class. So I get this. What is there? I get this source. So I think I will share you, because sometimes if we don't have a partner or if we don't have anyone to, when we try to write in English and we don't have people who want to give a score for our writing, so we can use it. Yeah.
Hey,
That is
can
for
I
the overall
see the grammatical errors? Will fix our grammatical error there, or only set the percentage of
I
error?
think the errors only show here spelling, because I don't know for the grammatical, but if you want to check grammatical error, just use Grammarly. I don't know if it's worth it or not.
But it's not available here, right? How to check the grammar?
I think so. I don't know. You just see the statistic here,
Yeah,
and readability score.
But Grammarly we should pay it. It's quite expensive. But in the first,
It's actually it actually should pay, but only for 250 words it's free.
oh yeah. Oh, so it means if we more than 250 words, we have to take premium. But if less than that, it's still free.
Yeah, it's still free. At least 250 words.
Okay, it's good information. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Galang Lazwa. Galang is expensive.
Okay. So back to the slide. So how can I assess my level if I'm not taking IELTS or TOEFL or something? You can actually download the select download. You can actually download the application called English Score, British English Score. So I've tried at the time when I'm in pandemic situation, and it is really interesting. But yeah, you can check your level in this application. Only takes 40 minutes. It will assess your grammar, vocabularies, listening and reading. Yeah. My last speech, I think I will give another close statement because I think, wait. Yeah. My close statement, wait. So regarding to the CFR, CFR has the philosophy. CFR philosophy is there is no hard and fast. Learners should be able to see their linguistic profile as a plural linguistic to improve language awareness on their own. So I think enough. Thank you to the audience that joining this discussion. I'm Senor Alim, back to Mr. Aji as a host.
That is by follow information. We should have it. We should take it as an advantage. I know when you know this information, it will be disrupt everything in Paris. Okay. Oh my goodness, it's so fascinating to me. Oh, by the way, before we close, we will end up our discussion. I just found one vocabulary is that it is privately developed to me is about heretic. It's only that. Other than that, maybe you can sharpening by yourself, but it doesn't matter. This information is the more than gold, I guess. Okay, before we close the discussion, thank you so much for Mr. Musin for delivering this one. Is definitely for Kibo, for like me, like Afida, later, and the people that will grasp the test of IELTS maybe. Before we close the discussion, can you share your screen? Open your camera. We will take the photos in the last time photos, and I've been recording it. You can. I will maybe tonight or tomorrow. I will upload it to YouTube, and then you can trace back this information. Okay, Mr. Ahmad Fatullah, open your camera. Angga. Mr. Ahmad Lukman, Mr. Muhada Fazil, Miss Sri Yunita. Okay. Okay, maybe it's so. I will count it. 3, 2, 1, and then take a picture. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Again, 3, 2, 1. Okay, it's done. So the last we say, hello, Ota.
Yesterday.
We say tomorrow.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
See you next week.
Musin.